everybody. Welcome to today's edition of the CrossFit Games Update Show. I'm Sean Woodland with Tommy Marquez and Pat Sherwood as we continue to get you set for the 2015 Reebok CrossFit Invitational. We will let you know where and when that is taking place later in the week, but we're still breaking down the teams. Yesterday it was the Pacific. Today we now turn our attention to Europe.
And this team is young, talented, and as funny as it is, I think relatively speaking, we don't know what the events are yet, but if some heavy loading comes out, I think the women would rather see that than the guys on this team.
Yeah, and what a difference a year makes, Sean. With all these young athletes last year, having this kind of squad would be almost unheard of, but now they're all at the forefront of this sport and making a name for themselves.
Yeah, 2 men, 2 women, 1 coach. We'll get all that set for you, but like you said, had you brought this roster to the Invitational last year to compete, you're a long shot. This year, they could very well be the favorites. Let's start with the women. Both stood on the podium. One won the games. That's Katrin David's daughter. One is an extremely talented rookie, and that is Sarah Sigmund's daughter. They are extremely young as well. In fact, this is the youngest team in the competition. Let's start with the champ. She goes from completely and totally missing the CrossFit Games to coming back and winning them.
Yeah, and we'll start by saying it never hurts to have the reigning fittest man or woman on earth on your team. But you look at how Katrin did it. She did it with consistency and damage control. She only had 2 finishes outside of the top 20, and both of them were the sprint events, which were only worth 50 points. She's extremely strong with the barbell. She's a skilled gymnast with a background in gymnastics. And what that lends itself to in terms of being on a team, she can kind of be a cleanup hitter of sorts. She can do everything, so in the middle of the workout, when it starts to wind down, you need someone to just kind of come in and clean up those last reps quickly. She'll be able to do that for this team, and it should give them a huge boost.
The other woman on the Europe team is also from Iceland, and that's Sarah Sigmund's daughter. And some rookies who have a great debut, you say, well, we don't know whether or not they're going to be able to do that again. I don't think there's any doubt that Sarah Sigmund's daughter is going to be around for a long time in the sport.
No, and she might potentially be better known as the 2016 fittest woman in the world. I mean, I really think she has that kind of potential. She is a force to be reckoned with. When she competed this year, she was only 22 years young, taking 3rd place. She won her regional, and she can really do it all. She had 8 top 10 finishes. And then let's look at kind of just the spectrums. She took 1st on heavy DT, did that in 8 minutes, 25 seconds. Then let's stretch it all the way out to Murph. She took 9th place on that, and she can do everything in between as well. Another year of polishing, of kind of looking back as to where she needs to shore up that game a little bit. And, you know, the other ladies better watch out for Sarah.
Yeah, over on the men's side, a pair of youngsters as well. Both of them with 2 games appearances under their belts. Both improved this year, and it was Bjorn Gudmundsson who improved the most. Gudmundsson is a guy that we never gave enough credit to until really the whole thing was said and done. We just kept overlooking him during the games.
Yeah, continually. I mean, here's how I think about it. If before the games happened this year, we sat down, you know, over a couple, you know, ice waters, mineral waters, cranberry juice, and said, let's lay out the top 4 at the games. Okay, first is going to be Ben Smith. You know, then we're going to have Matt Fraser. Right? Dan Bailey's going to be 4th. Who's going to be 3rd? No one would have said Gudmundsson, and if you're at home going, well, I would have, you're probably related to him or a close friend. No one saw this happening, and then when we were at the desk the entire time, he would finish in the top 5, and, you know, we'd have a couple minutes to prepare, and we're like, well, don't worry about Gudmundsson. Like, he's going to fall off. Like, it was a good event for him, but let's go with the big names. And then the next event happens, and there he is again. And then the next event, and this just kept happening, and then fast forward from the week, and he's on the podium. So he wowed me, has my respect, incredibly capable, but what I want to see is what we witnessed at the games kind of a singular event, or are we going to see repeated excellence from him? And this is our first opportunity.
And we're still waiting for that sort of next great male competitor from Europe. You know, Mikko Salo, the last European man to win the CrossFit Games. And a guy who could be in line is the man who rounds out this roster, and he is under the expert tutelage of one Mikko Salo, and that's Jonne Koski.
Yeah, and he's a rising star in this sport indeed. He's only 20 years old, and he had his 2nd appearance at the Games where he finished 9th. First time in the top 10. And, you know, he may not be the strongest of athletes, but what he brings to the table, similar to Mikko Salo, is a great engine and just a great will to just kind of grind through things. He's won his regional twice. He won 4 events at the regional this year. He's got that kind of home run potential, but I think what he really is going to bring to this team is really being that spark plug, that fire starter for this team. You have athletes like Sarah Sigmund's daughter, Katrin David's daughter, and even Gudmundsson, who just kind of steady as they go, top 5s, top 10s, stay consistent. But you need someone when, you know, the time is now to just absolutely light a fire and go up and maybe even crash and burn, because in this setting, he's got the support of his teammates to kind of help him if he falls off, so he can kind of light that fire and go and kind of blaze a path for this Europe team.
Someone has got to corral all these youngsters, and that responsibility as a coach is going to go to Samantha Briggs. And not only is she going to have to be a coach, but a little bit of a team mom here.
Yeah, she's got her work cut out for her, but she is up to the challenge. And what a great role for her. I mean, I've been lucky enough to work out with Sam. Of course, she decimated me, but the point is, she has that it factor, whatever it is, where she doesn't even have to be looking at you, but you know that she's in the room and you push harder. Like, there's just something about her. And so I think the team will feel that as well. They'll respond to that. And the other part is, Samantha's just a blast.
Yeah.
Like, she's lighthearted, she's fun, she'll be cutting up on the side. So in a situation where maybe the tension is a bit, much for some younger athletes, I think she's really going to level them off.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. She's got such an infectious personality. She brings in people around her. Everybody loves Sam, and that's going to be needed with young athletes who are going to be kind of scrambling all over the place. 3 athletes who weren't at the CrossFit Invitational last year. And really, Sam brings a level of experience that really no one besides Rish can bring, because she's been at every single CrossFit Invitational as an athlete before. And you better believe she's going to bring the heat, because you look at how she is as a competitor. She has those events where she just blows the doors off of, gets everybody standing up on their feet, and I guarantee you she's going to bring that atmosphere to these young athletes on the team, and it's going to ignite them to some really cool levels of competition.
And I'm sure they will have no problem, those 4 athletes, respecting her. You're not going to have any problem in that department as well. 2 teams are down, Pacific and Europe. We're back tomorrow to focus on the third of 4 teams, our friendly neighbors to the north, the Canada team. Until then, I'm Sean Woodland. For Tommy Marquez and Pat Sherwood, we'll see you guys next time.